Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I'm going to be doing the first part of a two-part video on AMA and assumptions. This was to celebrate hitting 500 subscribers recently. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you and I cannot wait to keep building this little community that we have here at Books with Zara, and I'm really excited to continue to get to know you all and interact with you all on books that we love and books that we don't love as well. But without further ado, so I asked everybody on a number of my channels, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, YouTube, to drop in assumptions and questions that they have for me and about me. And I'm going to do the assumptions part today, and then I'll release the questions part maybe, in a week or two or a couple of weeks. But that one, I had a lot of questions, so that one is probably going to be quite a long video. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the assumptions that you all have about me. Some of them are pretty funny and some of them are really random and some of them are like legit. So let's just go with it. So firstly, although you don't want to admit it to yourself, you will never be able to read all the books you buy. Yeah, that's almost a certainty. I think all of us readers, all of us book lovers probably have to make that admonition to ourselves. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop collecting books. I love books. I love having them around me. I feel safe when I have my books around me. And I have noticed that I have been buying less, but that's also just because I've been reading less. So I think I've just kind of curtailed it unintentionally. Your secret DJ name is Basso the Magnificent. Seb, when I read this the first time, I just burst out laughing because it wasn't, but now it is. So whenever you see Basso the Magnificent, no, it's me. The reason why he said this is because I love music, and one of the things that I love doing is like discovering new artists, discovering new songs, and I actually started getting into mixing recently, so I've started mixing songs that I love. I genuinely think in another lifetime I would have been a DJ because I love the emotions that music can evoke, and yeah, Basso the Magnificent is going to be my DJ name when I do eventually become a DJ in this life. You have used your beautiful British accent to your advantage at least once in your life. Yes, many times. More times than I can count. It does come in handy. I think even in the UK it comes in handy. But yes, when I go abroad, especially the US, anywhere in Europe, aside from France, because they just hate anybody who doesn't speak French. I'm joking. Well, semi-joking. But no, my accent does get pretty good reception. So yes, I do use it to my advantage when I can. If medicine came up with a way to significantly shorten the amount of sleep you need every day, you would immediately take advantage of it to finally be able to pursue all your favorite activities with all the attention they deserve. Absolutely, 100%, 1000%, 1,000,000%, yes. I mean, recently I've been trying out a slightly different routine where I go to bed a little bit earlier and I wake up a lot earlier. And that means that even though I have shorter amounts of sleep, I'm so much more productive because I'm going to bed at the right times. And it's amazing. It's crazy how much it can totally just free up your time to work on things that aren't, directly related to your everyday job or, even just like your normal hobbies. It's really cool. But yeah, if I could take like a tablet and not sleep, 100% I would do it. You are convinced that there is one person who is a free pass in any relationship, and this person is Joe Abercrombie. Of course. I mean, isn't that like a given? Isn't that true for everyone? Like, that should be a crime if it isn't. You are a confident person to others and you generally don't tend to be starstruck. But if you met your absolute favourite authors, they would likely bring out your inner awed fangirl. Yes, I don't get starstruck. I've met many different people from many different backgrounds, some who are, quite famous, some who are, very wealthy, very powerful. And to me, all people are the same. I treat every single person the same, whether it is the person who is delivering my post to whether it is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I genuinely don't care. To me, it's really important how people treat other people. And I think there's no reason to not treat everybody the same. Seriously, it's just beyond me why people don't do that. So yeah, I don't really get starstruck. I'm all about treating people in the same way, and that is just with respect. But yes, if I met my favorite authors like KJ Parker and Joe Abercrombie, well, I met him, and to be fair, I didn't fangirl, But I have to say my heart was beating really fast because I just adore the man. But if I met KJ Parker, I think I'd probably feel the same way, because for me, when I think, you know, I fangirl a little bit is when I have a really deep appreciation for that person's craft. But again, it's more respect than anything else. You're a bit of a perfectionist by nature, but over the years you have learned to say that 90% complete is often a good way to get most tasks and projects done. Yes, definitely. I run a tech startup, so it's impossible to get everything done perfectly. In fact, I recommend that you don't. If you run a company, you have to pick the battles that you want to fight, and that just means that not everything is going to get done perfectly. So yes, I'm very okay with 90%. I think the key thing is knowing what is going to be lost by not doing that additional 10%. As long as you know what that is and what the cost is overall, fine. You prefer having a few close friends to having many acquaintances. Yes, my closest friends I can count on this hand, and then, you know, and then I have like my second layer of friends, and then I have everybody else. So I have like my inner circle, my like close friends, and then I have everyone else. For me, you know, I really invest myself in the relationships that I have, and as somebody who's also quite introverted, you know, I really like to double down on the people and the connections that I have that really mean something to me. That doesn't mean that like acquaintance is a bad thing. It just means that I'm less likely to invest in that relationship for one reason or another. You are generally a good judge of character, and usually you need only a few moments to make up your mind about a person you are seeing for the first time. Yes, that is very true. I have always been a very good judge of character. There's maybe been one time where I was wrong, and that was actually recently. But I think it's really important to trust your judgment. I'm not a judgmental person. I don't judge people based off of the way that they look. It's, for me, judgments are based on that first like interaction that I have with an individual. That being said, I can generally get a good sense of somebody based on how they present themselves, and that's even before they've opened their mouths. So I'm generally good at people. It's a skill that I've had since I was a very young age. You are a very patient person in general, but the one thing that quickly annoys you are people beating around the bush and not communicating their thoughts or desires clearly and directly. Yes, I detest it. I detest it when people are not saying the thing that they want to say. I am very direct, and there are upsides and downsides to that. But to me, you know, we don't, especially when you're running a company or even in my relationships, right? Like, we're on this earth for such a finite amount of time. Why bother beating around the bush? I just don't get it. And this is quite unique for a British person. British people are generally very polite, so they're not super direct. But I think I learned, again, mainly from when I was quite young, because I have two older brothers. They always taught me to just say what I want to say with respect, but just say it and get it out there. So yes, I detest that. I find it really difficult when people don't do that. You have 2 feet. How did you know? You hate broccoli. So I used to. I don't hate it now. So I've kind of gone through a little bit of an overhaul in my life, and I've been eating very healthy. And broccoli is one of the things that I can eat. I have a whole host of, I have a whole host of food, not allergies, but there are certain foods that I eat and they just don't make me feel very well. And so what I can eat is actually very limited. So broccoli is actually one of the few things that I can eat and I don't feel sick. So, you know, I can't hate it because I have to eat it a lot. You've stolen the ending of A Song of Ice and Fire. How did you know, Klaus? It's somewhere hidden around me right now. Come here and you can find it and you can read it. That you're awesome. I mean, what can I say? You will choose a good book over sleep every time. Yes, definitely. I love that feeling when you are addicted to a book. There is nothing better than a good book, in my opinion. That being said, recently I've had to massively curtail my reading because I've been working on so many different things at the moment. And I would even paraphrase it a little bit to say you will choose personal projects over sleep every time, because that's what I've been doing. I've not been sleeping tons I haven't slept more than 6 hours in the past like 10 years, I think. But you know, I've even been sleeping even less because I'm just so excited about all the things that are kind of coming on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to the point in time where I get back to my normal reading cadence, because it has been a lot slower and I do miss it. You're an intelligent woman, resilient. I don't know if I'm an intelligent woman. That's very lovely of you to assume about me. I read a lot and I try to learn a lot. I'm a never-ending learner. I'm a very curious person, and you know, that's the way that that's the way that I am. In terms of resilience, yes, I am very resilient. I never really realized how resilient I was until a couple of my friends who don't actually know each other, they're like different friend circles, they all said to me over the last, you know, couple of years, like, if there was one thing that I had to say that you have more so than anybody else, it is absolute resilience. My life hasn't been the most easiest life. I'm not going to go into that. Everybody has a story. But yeah, I think, you know, I've had amazing people around me. I've had very strong characters around me that have helped me develop into the person that I am today. And for me, I think it's really important to just keep things in perspective. When you remember that you are one person out of 8-9 billion people, you really lose that sense of ego that we all have. And once you lose that sense of ego, then, you know, most things are just go over your head. You own many jackets and like to bring multiple options when you travel. So this is a little bit of a private joke. I'm not going to go into this, but yes, I do own many jackets. Jackets are actually my favorite thing to wear. It's why I wear a lot of jackets in my videos. I have quite the collection, and I love my collection of jackets, and I do bring multiple options wherever I travel. Thank you, Katrina. You mostly read, hardly ever watch TV. Yes, that's definitely true. I mean, I'm barely doing both at the moment. The little bit of TV that I am watching at the moment is documentaries. I mean, I would say in terms of the percentage of reading to watching TV, I would say I 85% read, 15% watch TV. And again, it's often, you know, maybe a show that I'm continuing, or like I said, right now it's documentaries. That you have neat handwriting and can type super fast. I don't know if I have super neat handwriting. I mean, I always get compliments on it, so I guess it's probably quite nice. And then I can type super fast. I can type really fast. I don't know how many words per minute, but it's probably a lot. That you will start your own company very soon. I'm not going to ask that. That you don't like working for other people. Yeah, I think that's something that I've learnt a lot over the last couple of years. And it's not because I don't like working with people. I love working with people. It's just that I have a very particular way of doing things. And I think, you know, one day I will definitely be working for myself. Even though you're ambitious and a high performer, you're also very chilled out. Yeah, I'm pretty low-key. I am very ambitious, and there's a lot of things that I would love to do in my life from a professional perspective. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty chilled. I like to just spend my evenings listening to music and playing video games and reading books. Like, nothing crazy, you know. I'm very chilled, and I like to have balance in my life. Because my professional life is so intense, the other parts of my life need to balance that out, and so that's the way that I do it. You value good conversation. Yes, I mean, this is part of the reason why I don't have that many friends, or that many really close friends, because I really hate small talk. I can do it if I have to, and unfortunately in the space that I work in, I have to do a lot of it. But I really love having a good conversation with somebody who's very interesting, and everybody's interesting. Everybody has a story, like I said earlier. And I like digging deep into things. I find it fascinating, and I really like challenging myself and my own perceptions and my own views of things by speaking to other people. You're equally comfortable in social situations as you are being alone, for sure. I mean, I would definitely say, I think if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said I'm extroverted. But I think as I've gotten older, I've definitely gone into myself a lot more. And I think that's just because I've become more confident in who I am as a human being, what my values are, what I stand for. I think it's very telling whether you can be alone, because I think you have to be very comfortable in yourself to be alone. And, you know, I love those evenings, those days where, you know, I'm just doing what I need to do and I'm not really interacting with anyone. And yeah, I love it. This weekend, I've actually been doing that a lot, and it's been amazing. You'll never stop working. Retirement isn't for you. Yeah, definitely. I think I'll always be working on something. I love what I do. I love building teams, building products. I love working with really smart people. I love learning about new industries. So for me, yeah, I don't know if I will ever really stop working. I don't think retirement is really even a consideration for me. You're a consultant who travels a lot for work. I'm not a consultant, no, I run a tech startup, but I do travel quite a bit for work. I mean, with COVID, obviously, it was quite nice because I didn't have to travel that much. I traveled quite a lot in my first job. I traveled all over the world. It was an amazing experience. And then in my second job, I traveled a little bit around Europe, which was also really cool. And then in my current place, I travel quite a lot to the US. But yeah, I love traveling. Well, that's not true. I don't actually love the process of traveling. I love arriving at the end destination. I'm trying to cut down a little bit of travel because I also I love London, and I've lived in London for 5 years now, and I don't actually know London that well. And so I want to spend more time here. You like sports and play sports. Yes, I do like sports, and I do play sports. I love tennis. I love Formula One. I do watch football now and then. I feel like every British person has to watch football. It's like a rite of passage. And I do play sports, not that much recently because of my long COVID and everything. I consume sports a lot, and I do really enjoy playing them. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to playing them now that my stamina is back to some level of normalcy. So that was the last one. Some of these were hilarious. And some of them were a little bit more serious, so I loved it. I think that was a really good mix. I hope that gives you a little bit more insight to who I am and the way that I think about things. I don't know if you guys ever really care about these types of videos, but I know I've had a couple of questions here and there, so I thought I would just film this and give everybody an opportunity to, you know, guess what I'm like. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be doing the second part with the AMA. I think that's going to be a much longer video because I had a lot of questions. But I hope you enjoyed this one, folks. Let me know if any of these surprised you, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.